52 victories, including 38 knockouts. Juniors. 45 victories, including 32 knockouts. Calzaghe.
Touch him up, the bell rings, come out fighting.
When Roy...
Rarely have two fighters more visibly for Jones in the fight. How to find ways to tower.
Well, I think Jones is at it. Calzaghe is fighting the fight that he wants to fight, counter move.
Jones has always had devastating...
But he would back off because you know if he threw a few more punches, he would take...
No knockouts since February. He also gives up. Calzaghe lands inside.
Work out of it, work out of it. Break!
Fighting rather than trying to get away. Goes the Jones is quicker in the center of the ring, and down goes the flurries inside.
But he may not make it out of this one like he did with it. Well,
and he goes forward waiting in.
And if he doesn't stop Calzaghe getting in trouble himself. Punch.
So there's blood on the bridge of Calzaghe's nose. He's all-evidence builder. Jones 9 out of 34. You can expect to see.
And I think he's probably been down about 4 times in fights, which shows that he does.
The fight down in the second round against Byron Mitchell. Knocked Mitchell out in that round.
Calzaghe, who I thought was the fastest light heavyweight around, at least this side of the...
It'll hurt Jones most if it keeps up. When he leans again.
Royce can go at this pace himself because Joe's going to go at this.
It's abundantly.
A knockdown is one thing, but a knockout is different.
This time under him now, and a greater ability to withstand what Jones throws.
Calzaghe looked like a washed-up Felix Trinidad.
Break!
Yes, I think. Roy's advantages in clean punch.
Giving Calzaghe a chance to just throw away. Many of the punches blood for the fighter's girlfriend. Unconsciously put her hands in the praying position, in which he hopes to dominate the second. However, Harold Letterman gave the round to Jones. Good body shot by Calzaghe. Left hand upstairs.
Over the last half round or so, Calzaghe is...
Come on, work out of it, work out of it.
Flashier and much more powerful. But, you know, unless he really
one punch
from a tall guy like that.
Calzaghe showboating in the center of the ring. For that by Calzaghe.
Burning himself out by throwing so many punches while he's blocking them.
Much better now. And landing when he fires back.
Showboating and carrying the round.
Jones now. That he's not faced by what happened in round one. At least with body language, Calzaghe is trying to portray.
Here we can see both guys doing
numbers in the round. Calzaghe landing 35 of 100.
Went for that first round. The second round, I thought Joe still was a little bit stunned. Anyway, 2-1, Roy Jones.
That he is not showing ill effects of the punch, and that he is in fact...
To me, outside of the first round, he's won, even though...
Down. Now, Jones may be looking for a way to pick a spot.
And
forearm or a wrist. No part of the glove actually hit him in the face.
Into the fourth round, but again, he's digging himself out of a hole for him. Question is, gets hit again with something he doesn't see.
I believe
Calzaghe to slow down.
No.
Kessler waited for it to happen.
It's bothering Roy. Roy's never experienced this.
Jones with impunity in the corner. Good hard right hand by Jones.
With his hands down.
Wise for him not to worry about Jones's power, but he's trying to... Numbers aren't everything. Punch count isn't everything. So on Harold Letterman's scorecard, he climbs back to within a point.
Catches Joe coming in with something hard, particularly when Joe is standing as he is now.
Totally disrespects Jones's power, but I think he wants to show
that he doesn't respect his power.
Good straight left hand by Calzaghe. 3 right hands. Station coming into the fight. A fighter who is comfortable throwing 7.
And landing too many clean punches. Even the punches the last round that he's dropping his hands to get away with that with Roy Jones.
Working the body. Calzaghe blocks a couple Jones shots and slips slow with 50 seconds to go. Calzaghe begins to try to... Jones backs away. Joe has his point.
Why would Roy allow someone to stand in front of him with his...
Calzaghe with the right hand. They're going to fight down the stretch. Oh, the round belongs to the Welshman.
Yep.
Jones lands a left off the rope. Finish. Jones with one more big counter shot. What a round.
A lot of punches and missing a lot, but eventually he starts coming through with that straight left hand.
Counted by Harold Letterman, gave it to Calzaghe. What? Outside his nose, on the right side, looks pretty good. And Jones looks to counter.
Roy's main punch in this fight has been the right hand, particularly the right problem of finding anything that can be effective.
And slowly
There's his own good defense when he's
It looks to me that
beginning.
and also Calzaghe's rhythm, his in and out rhythm. It's not that I'm quite sure Joe them have studied him very well and learned that that's the main punch they have to.
Remember, Calzaghe to land his right hand. And Joe fights back the way he's most accustomed to.
A beautiful time uppercut right through the defense of.
And again, judges can see how many punches are thrown way more effectively than the.
Jim, you just can't take it away from him. He throws so many punches and he has to be winning this fight. I mean, I thought Roy...
A little bit slower, more tactical, more selective.
as he once was against Tarver, and how great is he?
Joe is starting to get through with that left hand. You know, I really to predict the outcome of this fight is going to be very hard. Roy
And
Good
so
counter left by Jones, another one. But drives Jones back against the ropes. Roy may be momentary. Jones has landed a couple of good counter shots. But Zaki. Jones gets him off with one punch.
I've never saw Roy Jones cut. But I've been.
As he pushes him into the corner. Jones is landing good.
Oh, the Calzaghe was handing, he landed it straight in the eye, and I think that's what caused all of this.
Kellerman, I think I did see Jones once come back from adversity. The last two rounds.
he did. I don't quite think it's exactly. Roy was not this cut and this hurt in that fight, but you're right.
I think it's a whole different guy. His mindset, he's that of a winner. He's very...
In 57 Roy Jones fight, I want to say this seemed to show a sense of desperation as his feet and hands begin to move.
Seating here, he's still trying to win.
Absolutely. And we just got word from a challenge for Jones and a chance to show.
But it's not the same thing as winning the fight, coming back to win, depending on how long he can go with that cut.
Calzaghe has taken a little bit. He's totally in control. And now, and willpower and desire.
Target into the left eye and placing his punches very selectively.
Big fighter.
Yeah, I think it was Dr. Vernon Jordan up there, but I don't think this fight's going to go much.
Hanging off his face, 7th round of the Desert Charles fight. The ref said you have one more round
to win this fight.
He realizes, I think, that this is his last chance. Of course, Roy is almost 40 years old, facing a younger friend.
Against him. 244 shots.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Seldom, if ever, had to face, and certainly not
both hands.
But it's Joe who's doing the punching.
Joe get his momentum again. But I don't think he can do anything about it at this stage. A soft fighter like this, it seems like there's no one in the corner doing anything for him.
Trainer. The king of Roy Jones's world was always Roy Jones. 5 previous appearances in Madison Square Garden. That in. One more big right hand to punctuate the round for.
In 83, 7 rounds to 2. Joe Calzaghe, left-hand side. And I don't know why Orton Berkerson doesn't get out of that ring.
Berkerson, between round, he would try to land some hooks.
Going to beat him. 7-2, Calzaghe.
With adrenaline, then we put some throb in there. We're plugging it up with Avatine when we go.
Thank you.
Almost 40 years old, getting hit with punches he hasn't, is badly compromised in the ring. This started along.
But he's been a competitive fight for Roy and anyone. Very small out. He's very, very difficult to right there. See, he pulls back.
Well, I don't know. Maybe Calzaghe would have beaten Roy at his best. After all, we just
bring it up. Bring it problem for anyone. And the fascinating thing is, Zaki would be within his right in shutting down and holding his hands up.
Feels he has enough control over this fight now.
In other words, if there's any,
and yet it gives
by saying to him, "All right, look, I'm not going to back off."
He was
Also,
dropping his hands.
given that Roy at his best was the best fighter, he's out Roy Jonesing. Well, there's enough blood for this to be the St. Valentine's Day.
Probably something to the effect of, you can't knock me out. A reference to LaMotta versus Sugar Ray Robinson. And he, in fact, walks away ringside after having beaten Hopkins with Jones sitting at ring. Hubert Earl has a shirt soaked with blood. Calzaghe
Roy knows the only shot he has to win here is to land a home run punch.
After the game. In fact, Roy is moving in, but he's got to let some punches go. He's not punching.
This is not one of the... Wales is from Wales. Jerry Roth from Las Vegas, one of the most respected veterans.
Roy's going to have to do the upending. He hopes to win.
Giving Roy every chance to land something big.
Got a lot of respect from a lot of fans tonight based on his performance, even though he's...
And Calzaghe drives him back with a couple of blows. Just could be farewell. And Calzaghe's win over Jones will be in some ways.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at Madison Square Garden, New York City, 18-109. To the winner by unanimous decision, Calzaghe.